Yeah! We did it! Woo-hoo-hoo! We got there. We got there. Yes. I know what happened.
Oh,
I know what happened.
what happened?
Well, see, when you put a webinar link in there to a calendar, those that don't book within the window of opportunity,
Oh, oh yeah.
when they don't get that window of opportunity, then it just shuts it down. And then you go to the Calendly page and it goes, I don't know where the link is. So I just had to
Oh
switch.
yeah.
So we're all good. Thank you so
Nice.
much for joining. I'm
Yeah,
going to
dude.
get things underway. This is a fun one. I had a lot of fun making this. So
Oh, wicked.
I'm excited for this. First off, how are you two fine individuals?
I'm fantastic.
And Jody, how are you? Also fantastic.
I'm good. I'm trying not to melt like everyone else.
44 degrees in Kelowna right now. So
Man.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. But I have no complaints.
No.
All the neighborhood kids are in my basement riding around on their scooters, and that's kind of
Nice.
cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. I'm glad to provide them a cool.
Perfect. Okay. Well,
And I'm not really making supper tonight because it's too hot, so I just put out a bunch of veggies and things for them to snack on, and I'm good. And I got my new steel mace today, and
awesome.
I'm glad that I started with the small 2.3 kilogram.
Cool.
So that's excellent because I did some already, and I'm glad I made that decision.
Nice.
Instead of going for the big one.
Well, you know what? You're gonna grow a family of mace anyways if you like it half as much as most people that touch it. So you'll have a small.
I already like.
Yeah, super fun. Cool.
How much does a mace go for, by the way?
This was a scratch and dent sale, and it was only about 45 bucks with shipping.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it
Oh
came,
man. Okay, I gotta get one.
Yeah, go to the White Lion.
Yeah, go on to the store in the collective.
Yeah.
And still have it would be $31.99 for a
really?
For a 5 kilo mace, and then shipping it to you would be another $15.
Nice. Okay, I'll do that. Beauty.
Oh yeah. It is awesome, and that's I'm so glad you guys are talking because this all applies to what we're talking about today. Woo! Let me pull up our screen share here, guys, so you can see what we're talking about. And for anybody watching on the replay, feel free to grab some popcorn, sit back, enjoy the ride here. This is a doozy. I had a lot of fun, like I was saying, putting this one together. I realize now, after being out of the gym, out of face-to-face training up until today, this morning, that was my first session in roughly 16 months. Wow.
That's crazy, man. It's nice to be back at it, I bet.
It's so exciting to be back on, man. I was just like, I never skipped a beat, and that's why this was really, really fun to make, because it goes to show how important it is to be a part of your strength training, right? So without further ado, let's get you into, here, we're gonna pop this screen here, and then we're gonna go play, and then, there we go. Muscle for musicians. How to build a lean, mean music making machine to last with your host, Mike Schwartz. A bunch of letters behind my name, and we'll explain that in a minute, because you do need to have the credibility here, all right? Oh, geez, we're going back. Look at this.
Wow.
I got really excited. Hang on. Today's agenda, kids. This is how we do it. We're talking intro and housekeeping, okay? And we're going to talk about why move and strength training. Common questions I hear all the time. 3.5 common myths about strength training. And then how to individualize your training. And then the action steps. I want you guys to leave here today, or if you're watching the replay, I want you to leave actually knowing what to do. Like, take another step to be able to better your fitness after you've digested all this, okay? The action steps to getting strong or stronger, all right? And then we're also going to leave some space here for you to find folks for a Q&A And if anybody's watching the replay, you know where to find me. You can always message in the Music Fit Collective, or you can find me at Mike the Schwartz on Instagram. Okay. Who the fuck?
Oh my.
Yeah, look at that guy. Hey.
Yeah.
Great beard.
Yeah.
Great beard. Internationally recognized fitness professional. I had to put something in there. All right.
Of course.
And I have my ACE, so American Council on Exercise, Certified Personal Training. That's the CPT. I am through the Czech Institute, Paul Czech and Company. We'll talk about him and additional resources. The Holistic Lifestyle Certification. I am a holistic lifestyle practitioner. I have the equivalent of a condition. It's really funny how this all happened. My CSCS is now transferred over to Australia in a cert for fitness. It was just you had to jump through about 13 hoops, but we got her, okay? That's a certified strength and conditioning specialist, okay? Precision nutrition to help with the exercise nutrition. And then Steel Mace Flow is another one that we'll talk about as we discuss alternatives to the conventional gym, okay? I'm a keynote speaker at now 2 years running at Australian Music Week, Canadian Music Week a few years back, Breakout West over here. The last time I was there was in Edmonton. Whoop, whoop.
Nice.
This is Team Alberta right here, guys. This is great.
Team Verde.
Team Alberta, okay? Also spoke over at Mississauga for the Ontario Folk Music Festival, and also spoke in Hamilton at the Canadian Country Music Awards. So that was super, super cool. All of these are relevant to, of course, the music industry and our specialty in that. I am also a retired long track speed skater. I made left turns all day for about 4 years of my life. It was excellent. It was awesome. And I took a lot from that in how to condition and how, more importantly, not to condition. And then also a specialist of Olympic lifting, lateral conditioning, steel mace, kettlebell, and fight conditioning. These are my favorite things to teach, and I hope that somewhere down the line, if you have not yet already done so, you get to explore these fun ways of alternative movement as medicine. All right, things that I like to do as well: CrossFit. I'm a cyclist. I love hockey. I love soccer and all the other sports ever. Okay, so
nice.
Little background on me and where I'm coming from, so you know that first thing I got to tell you though is I know absolutely nothing at all. Okay, because I'm going to come into this looking to learn from you guys, and I hope that you guys do the same. Okay, housekeeping. Please write down questions and ask them at the end. Okay, we are going to have some open discussion here. Once we get into the flow of things after this housekeeping slide, I'll get you guys to mute so that it's enjoyable for the rest of the replayers, and then we'll unmute at the end of the presentation to let you guys just hit the floor with any questions that do come up. Cool?
Yep.
Please stay present. Okay? This goes for you folks on the replay as well. If some of this stuff goes real quick. It's a lot of science shit. It's a lot of math stuff. And a lot of people just, you blink, you miss it. Okay? So play attention. Not just pay attention. Play attention. Okay? Please, also, now, this is why I said we'll mute afterwards, because I do want to have you guys talk right now. What's one thing that you're hoping to learn from here today? We'll start with you, Jody.
I'm open to learning anything because I know nothing as well.
What's one thing? What is one thing that that's
targeting certain muscle groups, and if there's certain exercises for that, or if that's a myth, and overall.
Cool, awesome. I think you're gonna enjoy it today. Yes, Matt. How about you?
So I'm more so I'm super intrigued by I guess the nutritional side of things, like when to eat what, you know what I mean? There's just so many X factors and so much conflicting information about proper nutrition and what works for your body. I know there's a lot of moving parts there, what kind of body type you have, finding out your metabolism, this and that. So that, to me, I've been the most sort of just grasping at straws. I've never done anything that's really stuck. So that's the one that I think the missing element for me. I've just never really had a really good sort of diet plan and stuck to it. You know what I mean? So I'm really interested in the whole nutritional side of things for sure.
Okay, cool. I know that I've actually planned a much more specific in-depth on the nutrition because, I mean, there's so much, like you just highlighted, there's so much there. To put that all in 45 minutes on top of actual strength conditioning is like, it's way too much. Like I did 2 years worth to
Wow.
try to give you some context, right? And we
Yeah.
recertify with PN and I recertify with Check every 2 years too. So
Wow.
there's so much ongoing that's an awesome point. That's why I wanted to dock that in a whole separate musician nutrition. So that's another one.
Oh,
We were
nice.
on it here today. That's another one down the line here, though. Okay, so
Beauty.
excellent, excellent. Good to know where you're coming from, though, too, because now I can keep that in the forefront. So cool. That's awesome, guys. Thank you. Let's see if my slides want to continue to work. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So now we can plug the old mic on mute here. One of my favorite human beings ever in the, I'd say he's in my top 3 strength conditioning and practitioners that I would say go follow right now is Dr. Kelly Starrett. He is brilliant, comes from a CrossFit background, so you're immediately like, right? However, this guy is also a physiotherapist, and one of his most famous quotes that I will eventually enlift and change, because I guess you guys can both likely see the problem with this statement. All human beings should be able to perform basic maintenance on themselves. And that's absolutely correct. However, all human beings could or can be able to perform basic. And I'm going to show you how even today, okay? This is one of my favorites. I believe I even put it in my first book as one of the favorite quotes that I did definitely live by. So this is a really good thing to go forward with, is that we want to give you an idea of how to perform basic maintenance, and one of the key components to that is strength training, okay? So, great question. The $1 million question, if you will. Why move and strength train? Great question. Because a consistent movement practice can help build up the body so that you can avoid the most important thing of all, death or death-like symptoms, okay? And some of the things that are, like this, I could build an entire program based off of how many things you prevent and how many things you fix. However, I ran out of room. So heart disease, cancer, injuries, of course, dementia. Now, most people go, what? And I go, yeah, absolutely. Coordination. As soon as you incorporate basic motor skills and neuroplasticity, you get your brain thinking. There's a huge relationship between the way that you move physically and the way that your mind moves, okay? And we'll talk more in depth about that, which is a really, really cool, hot topic, especially as we get later on into our senior experience years, all right? Helps to build immunity, resiliency, and perseverance as well. And this is where we come back to the whole, I like this as my, part of my method is the strong body equals a strong mind, okay? And I know you guys both on the call right now and folks that are watching the replay, I know that you guys will agree, especially over the last 16, 18 months of this turmoil that we felt. The way that we can build that resistancy and especially the strength or the stress resiliency is, one caveat is by just cathartically going through motion and putting ourselves under stress physically to build up that resiliency in the mental capacity as well. So super, super cool. We'll talk more about that later down the line. Also helps to increase those happy vibes, the happy feels, simply through science, the release of endorphins. So why is this important? Because it's also really key to manage your weight. If whether or not you want to go up or down, if you're releasing endorphins, you're more inclined, because that same trigger, if you've noticed, when you go and grab that food, that dessert, that beer, whatever your vice is, it triggers the same kind of emotion, correct? Correct. So why not skip all the BS and the negative outcomes that can come with those vices and just start exercising to release the same kind of chemicals? I think that's a win. Stress management is also a big thing because as we stress, you've heard of stress eating or stress not eating. Same idea. We can substitute our stress eating habits and our weight management will improve as well as soon as we start building a consistent weight training or strength training. It doesn't even have to be weight training, strength training. Let's use the proper terminology here. Discipline to our livelihood. Cool. Also, you will sleep better. Who doesn't want to do that? Name the worst thing in the world, and this is a rhetorical question, but think about the worst thing in the world, and then think about sleeping or not sleeping for 3 days straight. What is now the worst thing in the world? Right? Sleep when you're off, man. And to further your point there, Matt, with the nutrition, that's real important. Also, super important for strength gains is to have proper recovery. That's where you actually make the gains in getting stronger, injury reserve, like all of this stuff to repair your body happens while you're sleeping. So if you don't have good sleep performance, none of it matters anyways, okay? You can work out, train like a maniac, eat all the best food, but if you don't sleep, all to waste, okay? Woo! Let's get positive again. Come on, Mike. Here, we got more things because I wanted to put one more point in there. Everything that gets worse with age gets better with exercise, okay? The thing that comes to mind is sex life, for sure. Like, absolutely, you're gonna have more ability to give into your relationships, both physically, mentally, emotionally, everything like that, which is super key when we're dealing, like, especially as musicians, we talk to so many people. So if you've built up your resiliency through strength training and built up your ability under a bar or into actually having a good exercise regime, you're going to be able to handle and take on a lot more stuff. So everything that gets worse, you can't sleep, you're eating like shit, you're grumpy as hell, all that stuff gets better the minute you start getting under a bar. I have yet to meet somebody that goes and has a workout and says, that sucks, I feel shitty now. If that person is out there, I need to hear who you are because I would love to meet you, okay? Because that won't be the case in my sessions. We have a lot of fun, okay? Here we go into it. Some facts. I love facts. On average, humans lose 3 to 8% of their muscle mass after the age of 30. Ah! We're all above that. Shit, what does that mean? That comes from the NCBI, one of the articles that I was researching for another project in here, so I just pulled this one back up, right straight from the U.S. Library of Medicine, okay? And that's just on average. I'm sure that that's encompassing people that are currently working out. So if you're currently working out and you hit 30, you're still going to lose muscle. That's just the way life goes, okay? We can prevent that, though. We can mitigate that by strength training. Okay, and developing more muscle. This is a big fact because most of us just stop. One of the myths that I didn't include on this one, one of the other myths, there was a notable mention here, was that I'm too old to work out. And that's absolute garbage. Some people go as far to say as, I can't sprint, I'm too old. My dad said that. No, that just means you're going to be sprinting a little slower, right? You're not going to be, the young buck you were, Pops. You're 69. Come on. You're still going to be able to run, though. It looks funny, but, we'll work on that, All right, speaking of myths, let's get into it. We're rolling, cooking, okay? Myth busting time. Myth numero uno. This is my favorite, I guess. I'm willing to bet you guys. Here, actually, let's open the floor. Before I go into this, what are some of the myths? Let's open it up. I like the collaboration here.
So is this like myths about it's just strength training?
Yeah, strength training. Yeah. What's the myth out there? You lift weights and what'll happen?
So yeah, lift weights and then you're gonna turn your fat into muscle.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. That's a good one. That was an honorable mention as well. How about you, Jody? You got any myths out there?
I've heard that if you start lifting weights and then stop, it will all just turn right back into fat. So you have to keep lifting weights forever if you start.
That sounds like hell. Nah, that sucks. Yeah, those two were honorary mention. Okay, we're gonna go into the one that I hear all the effing time, and it is a gender biased one. I don't hear too many dudes say this. Okay, because not too many dudes are upset about that. Okay, I'll get bucky if I lift weights, which. Granted, that is a fair, if you're a lady, you don't want to look like a freaking, Hulk Hogan. No kidding. I understand that. Grow a beard. Fuck that.
I might.
Well, you know what? Maybe. and if hey, you know what? Music Fit Collective, we are gender neutral. We're also beard neutral. Like if you want a beard and you're a lady, beard up. I'm good. Only if you take human growth hormone and horse tranquilizers too will you bulk up if you are a lady, okay? Or if you're a dude, like you're just not, it's not a thing, okay? I'm really uncertain where this came from. So that's one I just wanted to get squashed right off the bat, okay? Research shows that without added supplementation, that bulky look that people are worried about is complete bullshit, okay? It is. It's not possible. Your body produces a certain amount of hormones for your body, okay? Yes, there is some, I do kind of know where people are coming from. You can count on longer, leaner muscle, okay? And while some body types are more genetically prone to adding the muscle, you'd have to take some crazy-ass steroids to get from out of shape to Hulk the freaking Hogan, okay? That's not going to happen, okay? You'd have to take some serious, serious stuff. And I've seen some dudes that were in the fight gym when I was training, they were using it, and it still wasn't working. So they, you know, like even when you try, you got to try real hard. So it's physically not a thing unless you're pumping yourself full of the juice, and that's not something that you're doing. That you're never working with me, I promise that. So that's just it. There's way better ways of staying fit. There's just too many things that can go bad here. So this is what most women think, that, oh, that's what I'm going to look like if I start working out. And what's actually accurate is somebody more along these lines, pixelated as well. Okay, you're going to look much more pixelated. High quality graphics here at Music Fit Collective. This is what happens, Jody, when you leave me to my own devices. I'm not good at this stuff. Okay. All right, number 2. You guys had some good ones out there. This is another one. I'll lose my flexibility if I lose weights, because I had to think, okay, what's one thing that most people, or general population, are kind of cautious of? Well, I don't want to lose my flexibility. I can already not touch my toes. What happens then? Well, here we go. Quite the contrary, guys. Here's a fun fact. Think about the squat, okay? Research shows that loading in a full range of motion of a squat, for example, will increase your flexibility because of one simple, what's the word I'm looking for? Concept, okay? If we were to take, and it's going to make sense when I get the picture up here. La-dee-dee, la-dee-da. Come on. Almost there. There we are. With the squat, as dude with the arrow, so sitting down, dude, over there, you can see we've got to have really good ankle mobility to get to that position. That's a flexibility thing. Mobility and flexibility go hand in hand, okay? Mobility is how strong you are in a set range of motion. That's the difference between that and flexibility. Flexibility is the actual, how flexible am I to get to that point. Mobility is actually how strong am I in this far back point. So in a squat, if you load a full squat, you're going to get further into that, which increases your flexibility. Ta-da! Simple science like that. All right, so it's actually quite contrary to that. It completely negates the myth that you'll lose your flexibility. No, if anything, you'll gain it if you're doing it correctly. Okay, so that's really cool. Squish that one right there. Okay, number 3 and 3.5, because I didn't want to make another slide, and I like half numbers. Okay, strength training's not for me, or you need a gym. 2 things I hear all the time, especially for the people that just got lazy for the last 2 years. Okay? Strength training is for everyone. I can't say that. Like, there is so much worth for every single human being out there. And why I put these 2 myths together is exactly because those same people that say it's not for me is that they're the ones that don't want to go to the gym, which is why I invented myself as the rock doctor, because I'm the dude that speaks musician language. I actually don't know too many musicians that go to a gym per se. I do know a few that work out though. And there's lots of different ways to modify your training regimen around what is available. And Jody, you already mentioned it. You got your mace today. Awesome. Last week we were training MMA. Right? We're doing fight night. That's strength training, guys. Like doing those plyometric bullshit moves that taxes us. That's strength resistance training 101. Here, you'll burn more fat, build more muscle, and have more curb appeal, which is what everybody wants. if you incorporate a minimum, okay, this is the catch, minimum of 2 hours of strength training per week, okay? And that doesn't have to be straight. Of course, it's just 2 hours. It is very beneficial to have that longer resistance time under tension, we call it, for depending on what gains you're looking for, like what your actual, when we talk about individualized goals and programming, that's when we talk about where that length of session comes in, or how many repetitions we want to do. In the next couple slides here, we're going to dive into that, okay? Just for you guys' interest, though, alternatives to the conventional gym are, of course, body weight and calisthenics, okay? So that's all of our animal flow type stuff. Getting around, crawling around on your hands and knees is much more difficult than it looks, you know, and if you guys have taken one of my fight night classes, you'll know it. It's 2 minutes on your hands and knees sucks for a lot of people who haven't done that. And then you go and watch those kids out in the playground, they're swinging like monkeys from the friggin' monkey bars. And you're like, there was a time that I could do that. And my job is to get you back to that time. We're all kids, okay? Kettlebell, woo! Love kettlebell training. One of the most functional pieces of equipment that you can possibly have. It's great for strength, it's great for mobility. It's absolutely great for strength and endurance training. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with a kettlebell. Just because of the way that it's weighted, it's like, for those that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, here's a kettlebell, okay? You got a handle and you've got weight, uneven. Super cool way of training, because even though that's only 25 pounds, 12 kilos, the way that it moves in relationship to just a standard dumbbell is absolutely different. I can take a 30-pound dumbbell for a ride. I can't take a 12 kilo. Go figure. It's 5 pounds less, and it's the same drill. What? Yeah, I can't do it for whatever reason, right? Which is really, really cool. Steel mace, same principle. Weighted on one end. Man, does that make a difference, okay? Even if it's only 5-10 pounds. Wow, that gets a workout in, especially when we're talking about musicians. Preventing injuries is a huge piece to the program, okay? Preventing injuries, because we're always, you know, if we're riffing on the guitar, we're going to be crouched up like this. We want to bring that muscle recovery back into the game. So building up the endurance of those muscles is key. Steel mace, kettlebells, body weight, that's all stuff that's going to help build up the forearms, the wrist strength, the shoulders, the back, and the hips. And those are the areas that we generally see, if we were to boil it down to 3, for most musicians that do experience pain or discomfort in some sense or the other. Okay, so shameless plug right in here. We are now open in Alberta, and we're able to do face-to-face coaching. I'm also still keeping some virtual stuff, so I will say this a few times. If you guys haven't booked a recovery or discovery call, please do reach out. They're all complimentary, just to help get you on the right path, okay? We talk about what you want, how you're going to get it, and then give you the steps to actually action that, okay? I'd be happy to help you guys, whether you're on the call or if you're just doing the old replays here. One more button. Come on. Here we go. So, how do I get results? Oh, glad you asked. Let's see if our internet wants to work. Okay, periodization. The super technical term that should read we trainers like to use to scare people into submission. Okay, just kidding. It's how you get from point A to point B effectively and without injury. Okay, so periodization 101 is going to work. Come on, YouTube. Let's work, baby. Come on. Go. Go. No? It doesn't want to go. Let's pull it out. Come on. Here we are. Okay, now it's going to work, right? It doesn't want to work from the full screen. What's up with that garbage? Guys. Hey, come off it. Okay, well, we're going to watch it from this screen then. My apologies. I'm new to this. This is my first time ever doing this, guys. Let me know if you can hear it. Give me a thumbs up.
Hey everybody, Mike Schwartz here. Ever heard the word periodization? If you haven't, that's okay. That's what we're here for. It's a safe way to get you from point A to point B, in terms of fitness anyways. The roots of periodization are credited to a Hungarian guy named Hans and some Russian dude named Leo. But neither of them are this guy. This is the Tralala guy. But fun fact on him is that Russia threatened to exile him out to Siberia if he sang any words. That's why he's Tralalaing. All right, let's start from the top. Periodization is broken down to a bunch of phases. The first one is the prep phase. Now, this is you. All right? Yeah, we focus on the core. Now, in the prep phase, we work on base level of conditioning. All right? That includes things like stability, mobility, and flexibility. We want to make sure you got a nice solid foundation. Now, in the prep phase, we focus on the primal movements. All right? We're talking like caveman stuff. Hey, look, there's Fred Flintstone. That's pretty cool. Now, in this phase, you do a ton of repetitions. We're talking squat, lunge, push, pull, bend, twist, and sometimes walking. Now, the prep phase is broken down further into two subcategories. The first one being a general prep, where we're doing lots of reps, low weights, and basic motor skill kind of stuff. All right, so how do we train? Well, this is you again, and we're going to draw some muscles on you because we're building lean tissue. The idea here is more repetitions, less weight. Anywhere from 50 to 75% of your max for 3 to 6 sets of 8 to 20 repetitions. That's going to get you some volume, okay? Another approach is more strength endurance based, where you turn into a sweaty mess. Yep, that's you. Heart rate goes up, body fat goes down. You get shredded, all right? Another approach is the absolute strength here. You got some hair now. You got more weight, less reps, and you get super strong. Super strong. So now that we've got a solid core, great foundation with lean tissue to help support the joints, and functional strength, we can get a sharper focus on sport specifics. Now, how long does this usually take? Like 3 to 6 months. For the sports fans out there, think of this as like the off season. Next phase. This one's known as the first transition. Hey, what happened to my end there? Now, I like to think of the first transition as like a big electrical storm that combines and transfers all the strength into power. Speaking of electric, that was Eddie Grant with Electric Avenue. Back to undulated training. That means like all over the map, kind of like this presentation. Oh, hey, Christopher Columbus holding a globe. Interesting. This phase, you can expect to do anywhere from 30 to 95% of your max, 2 to 5 times for 2 to 5 repetitions. Again, the whole point here is to transfer that strength into power. Oh, hey, look, Eddie again. Just mean mugging. Anyways, how long does this last? Anywhere from 1 to 3 months, typically. For the athletes, think of it as like preseason. Next phase. This is the competitive phase. Draw this little cup. You're number 1. Now, an easy way to think of this phase is like preparation for liftoff, all right? And we break it down into like 2 different parts. One being peaking, where it's like 1 to 2 weeks of total awesome, all right? This is like you're doing 1 to 3 sets of 1 to 3 reps at nearly your max, okay? The second part is more like maintenance, where it can go for months. You could be doing anywhere from like 2 to 5 sets of 3 to 6 reps, almost max. Now, how long does it go is really dependent on your sport. It could be anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months. Think of this as in-season training. And finally, we come up to the last phase. It's known as the second transition, also known as active rest. Now, in this phase, I like to encourage my athletes to get into the recreational activities like swimming, hiking, tennis, and listening to T-Swift. Now, we generally don't want to spend too much time here. 1 to 4 weeks is pretty good with a big focus on recovery, again, with disease. Think of this as the postseason. All right, let's do a quick recap here of periodization in a nutshell. We want to think about you have a goal, and the closer you get to that goal, the more intense the exercise is going to be. However, when you're way out there, we just increase our volumes. We do more repetitions. Make sense? Like the big purpose behind periodization is to reduce risk of injury and overtraining. We want to get you there safely. We want to increase your awesomeness and your curve appeal. All right. Now, if you got something good out of this, be sure to share it out. Thank you so much for your time. Again, I'm Mike Schwartz. All the best to you and your training. Peace.
But there you have it. That is a lot of information. I know, right? Thank you. Yes. entertainment. It's edutainment, guys. Edutainment. Okay, that's what I pride myself on. You gotta make shit funny. Okay, because you're gonna remember that. Active rest. Oh, I'm gonna remember to listen to Taylor Swift. I know. It happens. It gets the best of us. Okay. So action items. Now, one thing I wanted to talk about. We talked a lot about percentages in there. Okay, and a lot of folks. This is exclusive. I didn't even put a slide on this, but it occurred to me. That can seem really overwhelming. How the hell do I know what my 1 rep max is? How do I know what 75% is? Couple different ways, okay? For really basic stuff, if you think I did a squat, I feel I could do 10, and it was about a 7 out of 10 on the feeling of, oh my God, I'm gonna die. That's 70%, roughly. It's what we call rate of perceived exertion. Okay, so you give yourself a scale of 1 to Justin Bieber or whatever, and then you can see, oh wow, that was super, super intense. Not quite as Justin Bieber as I thought. Where if you go on the spinal tap scale, 1 to 11, that's generally more quantifiable. Okay, you can figure that out. Like, wow, that one nearly knocked me on my ass for 3 days. That's a tough exercise. So in my coaching system, in Trainerize, we have a scale like that. Okay, so you can rate every single workout judging by how hard it seemed on a scale like 1 to 10, 1 to 15, right? Jody, what is it? Is it 1 to 13 as a client? I want to make it 1 to 11.
I believe it's 1 to 10.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty simple. There's another scale out there to confuse everybody. The Borg scale goes 0 to 21. Like, okay, cool. That's going to confuse people. Okay. Here, though, is if you want to get real sciencey and you want to safely execute drills, grab your magic wand and write this metric down. Okay, this is the 2.5% rule. It's a teaser right there. 2.5% times X being the weight. Okay, so the weight. So you want to put a little parentheses in between there because that's going to be like a math equation, okay? So 2.5% parentheses, okay? Let's give you the weight, which is X, times the repetitions that you did of that weight. So say you did 100 pounds and you did 10 of them, okay? And then you close that parentheses down. Then you add the weight that you did at the end of that, okay? So 2.5% times the weight times how many you did plus the weight. And that'll give you your rough calculation of your 1 rep max without you blowing your back out by trying to find it, okay? So that's what I strongly encourage is when you go to the gym, you're like, shit, I got to figure out what my new best is. I have no idea how much weight I can do. You grab a weight that you know you can do and see how many repetitions you pound out. Now, granted, if you're just like cooking it, you're doing 25 reps, it's not going to be accurate. So find a weight that you can roughly, you think that you'll safely get 10 repetitions in. And if you happen to go a little over it, remember, these are clean repetitions. And I'm using squat because it's the most common exercise that most people will know what to do because we all sit and we all take poops. So that's a squat, guys. Yay. Yeah. What can I say? Gotta get real, okay? But using that metric will then give you your 1 rep max perceived, and then you can use that number to find your 70%. So if 110 pounds is your 1 rep max, you'll know that 70% of that is your 70%. Ta-da! Cool? Excellent. That's one heck of a good way. That comes out of the checkbook, okay? That's Paul Chek's 2.5% rule, okay? If you guys have any questions with that, I'd love to dive into it. I'm a nerd when it comes to actually getting into the actual science of periodization. So here are my 3 pro tips for you guys to take home with you, okay? Find a movement practice that you can get behind, okay? I often get, what's the best exercise? The one that you want to do. It's honestly, if you're not a runner, don't run. If you don't like biking, don't bike. Find the stuff that you love. I love training boxing and MMA. I love training with a purpose. I love getting on my slide board because I'm still a skater. I'm retired. I'm out of competition, but I love skating. I love swinging a mace around. I love playing with kettlebells because they're all practical, functional things. You don't have to break your neck in the gym and go in and be a bro if you don't want to, okay? Second most important piece is actually scheduling the time to yourself, okay? Start with the 2 days per week. That's my best general recommendation because it gives you motivation. It also gives you, I was toying with the idea, I think I'll put this into our next session on this topic, super compensation, the way that your body handles rest and recovery, okay? It's a really, really great way to have 2 days if you're brand new or getting back into a new exercise program or a strength training program. It's great to start with 2 days because you give yourself adequate rest in between sessions, all right? At best, I recommend people 3 days, but that is a lot for a lot of people, right? 3 days a week doesn't sound like a lot. It's like, oh yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You'd be surprised what kind of stuff gets in the way when you're trying to build that habit, right? So, always better. Even if you do happen to set the target to 2 and you hit 3, big win, huge win, right? Now, if you set the target to 5 and you hit 2, you feel like a bag of shit for a week, right? And we don't need that, right? This is where that mental game comes back in. We want to build your confidence up, tackle that, and get into your movement practice within reason, okay? Remember, mediocre plan that's well executed, even if you have no clue, completely negation acknowledged. If you do not know what you're doing and you still go and move, that's a hell of a lot better than the best plan sitting from your coach that never got executed. Okay? So, move. I know, it sounds really easy. Okay? And here's how. Join a community. You've got one here at Music Fit Collective. We're adding more and more services and offers now. It's busy season right now, being that it's gig season. So if anybody that is watching this is already part of the collective and they want a class that's a specialty that's not currently offered, all you got to do is say the word. If I don't know it, I know somebody who does, okay? Join that community. We offer the group fitness classes, even for the price of admission. Like your monthly rate, if you're paying $25, one of my classes would typically go for $25. So you make one class in a month, you've paid for it yourself, okay? Plus you get all the replays, right? So hire an expert coach or find even just an accountability buddy to train with. Here's another fun fact, because I'm full of them. Social support has proven to be more important than any other determining factor in getting you to success, okay? Anything else. The people you hang out with, that social circle, are going to tell you, yeah, and you're going to keep on going, or they're going to tell you, nah, and you're going to give up because beer and wings is cool, right? So surround yourself with like-minded individuals, join those communities, find an accountability partner, hire a coach, get something on paper and get moving, right? A lot of us struggle with that self-accountability, so, the herd mentality definitely comes into play here, okay? Vibe with your tribe. Ta-da! Just in case you missed it, face-to-face. Had to find the coolest face-to-face picture I could. That's the one. Okay, you guys are more than welcome to book a face-to-face call. We do that through Zoom still, but if you are in the Southern Alberta region, which I'm learning more and more people are, that are getting aware of this Music Fit Collective, we've got our games coming up, which I'm very excited about in 1 month's time, literally to the day. We've got 30 days away. Woo! Very excited. And if you're on the other side of the planet, I still train people in Australia and France. Had a couple clients all around the world. So time zones, I know the math. So fear not. Fearless Leader is here. We will get you to your goals. And it's just a consult. We just want to find out what you've got available, what you're looking to do, how you want to get there, and how I can help support and how the rest of the team can help support, because it may not be me. I want to see you so I can filter you out. I'm like the dating service. I'm Tinder for you and your exercise, okay? I'm going to set you up with the best. Maybe Tinder's a bad example because I don't give you herpes, okay? I will not. Book a free consult. Get yourself going in the right direction. All right? All right. Boom. Let's open those mics up. Questions, yo? If there are any. If not, all good.
I have a couple questions.
Sweet. Let's give her.
One is, when you were talking about when start 2 days a week for 45 to 65 minutes, does that have to be all at once, or can it be in like 2 to 3 20-minute sessions, or does that matter?
Great question. And as a purist coach would say, it depends. It really does depend. And that's where the individualization, that's where the discovery call is going to make a lot more sense, because periodization means something differently. The presentation that I just gave on that is a basic, like that's your baseline. So we can take a couple minutes. Give me a brief 1 to 2 sentences of what your number one goal is. Like, what's the number one goal? We'll start with that. And then I can tell you better recommended based off of what you tell me, just based off that. So what is that?
Oh, you want me to tell you right now?
Yeah, tell me right now, and I can resolve that. I know we're meeting later this week anyway, so but I can give that because it's of value for anybody else watching this too. Because if they share the same kind of goal, we can answer that question for them as well, right? So is there like something that you want to get to? Is there like a tangible goal? Is there you mentioned before you want to learn what kind of exercises can spot reduce, which I hope today has taught you. There's no I'll clear it up in case it hasn't. We can't training muscles. There's a common myth out there. If I work my 6-pack and I do a bunch of crunches, I'm going to get a 6-pack, right? No. Because what happens when we strength train? Our muscles get shorter. So when we get shorter, here's the guy in the gym that wants the big chest and doesn't do anything else but bench press. This is that guy. He can't actually even wipe his own ass, right? And I'm saying that because I know that guy. I helped get that guy opened up. So lean, long tissue muscle is actually much more sex appeal for tightening up, firming up. You know, when people use the term tone, I know I can speak on this without fear of ridicule because I'm dealing with 2 prominent musicians here. That's a musical term. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tone. I don't know how it found its way into fitness vocab. Tone. I know what they mean, like a defined lean muscle. However, the reason they can't see the muscle is because there's a layer of body fat that's covering it up. So when we remove that, now we got muscle, right? So the theory of spot reduction doesn't really exist. You can't out-train a bad diet, right? So we got to really, that's why there's another level to this on the precision nutrition side of things where we talk about diet. As far as answering the other part of that question though, 2 to 3 times per week with intervals, it depends on what your schedule is like. Because again, it's got to fit your field. Even if it's ideal for you to train 2 hours twice a week and you don't have that because you're on the road, you've got kids, you've got a full 9 to 5, it may not work in the actual lifestyle. So we work with what we have, and that's where a consult really comes in. It might make more sense for you to work 15 minutes at a time, 5 days a week, if you can squeeze that in before you get to the work day, right? And then we look at what kind of training. You remember, if we go back to the periodization, once we get out of our prep phase, then we can decide if we're going to go build or burn, right? Because you've got high intensity resistance training or you've got 5 sets of 5. Very, very different outcomes, okay? In a general sense, we take you from the stability, mobility, flexibility to a build phase, because what you'll do is you'll help add up joint protection by having muscles in here. Another myth is that I'm going to hurt my joints if I strength train. Bullshit. You're going to actually support your joints, because now when you're doing those high impact jumps that you shouldn't have been doing at CrossFit because you never trained before. Not to shout out CrossFit, but I see it all the time. People are doing plyometric jumps on the first fucking day. It makes no sense at all. That is the most extreme, as you saw in the periodization table. That's power. That's the last thing that you do. And most people are like, I'm getting fit. I'm doing my cardio by jumping. Bullshit. That's the last thing that you want to a fast track to injury. That's a way to do it right there. Plyometrics, right? If you're not training properly squatting and you're going to jump squat, oh yeah, look at that. Wow, that's a great drawing. Who is that? Is that looks like a strength, that's a strength phase right there.
I think this is what I look like after I work out.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ferocious, vicious, ready to fight. I love it. That I hope helps. It would take a little bit more information to make a really accurate thing, but as a general rule of thumb, work with what you have. If 2 hours is feasible and you can last that long, then go for it. If you can full tilt for an hour session, go for it. If you can add on, because you're going to put yourself under more time under tension, right? However, I've also seen great benefits from 2 shorter ones in a day, right? So here's another one, is that change it up. If you can do either or, change it up. Your body loves variability. You know, it's the same thing as if you're sitting at a desk and you've got a standing chair or a standing desk. Switch it up. Stand sometimes, sit down sometimes. It's not that one or the other is better. It's the variability between the two. Same with exercise. It's not that steel mace is better than kettlebells. I mean, they're both awesome. They're both better than sitting on a circuit machine. They're both better than nothing. However, switching them up is going to give you the best results because your body can get some woo, this is fun. This is variability, right? So if you got both available, try them both.
That makes sense. Thank you. To go along with that, is there a maximum number of hours that you should work out, and is stretching important?
Yes, to all of it. Yes. I'll start with the maximum. Yeah. You need rest days. Like the most I train, I move every day. Okay. Strength training, we talk training age. Training age is if you've been working with a coach for more than 1 year and you are a proficient athlete in strength training. Most people that I deal with anyways don't even have 1 year under the belt of training age. At most I've ever worked with is 2 years before they got to me. Okay? So when you're under 1 year of training age experience, you're not doing more than 4 days a week of solid stuff because your body needs that. And that's where part 2 of this presentation goes, in super compensation. So I'll give you the Coles notes on it. Let's say day 1, Monday, you work out. Here's a XY axis, okay? You start at 0. You spike your energy, but then after the workout, you come back down under 0, okay? It takes time for you to get back up to that base, okay? And then if you train again 2 days down the line, you pick it up. And this time, you don't dip as far. That's super cool. And then it keeps on going. Up, up, up. If you smash yourself every single day, you hit, and then you keep on going down. So your performance actually degrades if you don't give proper rest. My general recommendation for anybody under 1 year of training age is 3 times a week. At most, 4 times a week. At most. Right? 3 is a really nice balance. On Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 days off. The other formula I love is 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, 2 off. Monday, Tuesday on, 1 day of active rest, T-Swift, right? And then 2 more days, because you'll notice later in the week, especially if you're working a traditional job, you're going to feel taxed compared to the top of the week. End of the week workouts are like a nightmare if you're trying to push too hard. Absolute nightmare. And that's all one way of periodization. The way that I go is off of Whoop. It's known as auto-regulation. So there's great value in periodization. That's a very, very skeleton system though. And that's why I want to include, like, in a second piece, auto-regulation is actually the best way to train. Okay, this gives you an idea of what styles there are if you want to build muscle, or if you like, there are different phases. It's not just go to the gym and lift things. Okay, it's not just to 10. There's a 5 to 5, and there's a 1 to 3, and there's percentages that we got to worry about to get certain gains. However, if you're drained, Jody, and you go to the gym and on the program it says max effort, and you're like, I didn't sleep well, I forgot to eat, I was drinking last night, you're in the red, we move that program to another day because it's going to do much more damage than it's worth. Okay, and that's why in the method I have choreographed my workouts to a green zone, a yellow zone, and a red zone to correspond with the Whoop scores. So when you go and you wake up in the morning, you go, oh, here, perfect example. I haven't looked at my Whoop, and I don't think I actually slept last night, and I'm going to show you guys in real time. I haven't looked at it for fear. So let's pull up Mike's Whoop. Oh, it hasn't even processed it. Oh, I'm actually surprisingly green. That's hilarious. Okay. Well, apparently not sleeping worked for me. I felt like I had a shitty sleep, but apparently I didn't. So I got a green score on my recovery today. I've already smashed most of my day strain, already sitting at 11 out of 21. And a lot of that is just coaching, right? And playing around the river to avoid the sauna that is my house. Okay. Here's the thing. I've got a 73% recovery in green. That means I can produce. I can have a max effort day, okay? Because I've got enough vibrance. I've got enough Shazam to be able to do that. However, last couple of days I've been yellow, right? So on the yellow scores, that's where it's more like a strength day, okay? That's where it's less, go, 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 crazy, 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 more for like slow controlled movements where we're still getting a good muscular strain, but it's not taxing my cardiovascular system and putting me into the red, okay? So overtraining is a real thing, and a lot of people hit that. Also, not to add to more confusion, women have to worry about the infradian cycle as well as the circadian cycle. Circadian being the sun cycle, infradian, the moon cycle. You guys are much different than us dudes. We don't have the baby makers and all that monthly jazz to worry about, right? So women have to also really, really pay attention to their cycle in where you be training, because if you're in low and you're feeling really lethargic, that's a sign not to friggin' train. Your body's saying, yo, slow down. Okay? There's only like 2 weeks out of the entire cycle for most women that can actually train the way most women want to train. Most women think, I'm going to the gym, I'm doing group fit, bar, I'm going to pump it, I'm going to hit it, I'm going to go, and they get shitty results because of it, because they're going against the grain of what their body actually wants, right? So rest and recovery is actually the fastest way to really, really maximize your results, because when you do go, you're going to have more to give. I know that's a long-winded answer. I hope that helps answer that, though. Does that help? There's a lot of info in there. Okay. Do you have any further points that you want to that came up with that, or are we good? Yeah, we're good. Matt, you got anything, bud?
Yeah, just a quick one. Like, is there a best time to work out? I guess there's probably a lot of like X factors in there, but like, is there a best like time of day, morning, afternoon, evening? I guess, yeah, you're kind of looking at your, like your, the Whoop there. Like, does that kind of give us some insight on that as well?
It does, because it'll tell you when you've got the most here. If you don't take anything else, it depends on you. When do you have the most energy?
Morning, for sure.
Perfect. That tells me a couple things. Now, if you were the person that says, "Oh man, I'm lit up in the middle, like right in the middle of the night. I get it at 11 o'clock." I'm like, you've got another issue. So that it's all right answers. However, just as I was talking about infradian cycle, so now we'll remove that. That's a ladies thing. Okay. Most dudes only menstruate. They are on a different cycle, but it's a menstruation cycle, and that's where the circadian thing comes in. And depending on who you're hanging out with, you will pick up on that. Man, woman, don't matter. You will pick up on other people's energy on that. So it depends on who you're hanging out with. Now, what I will say for you, Matt, is when you go in to your training and it's in the morning time, you're feeling that energy. It's because of the circadian cycle. We are supposed to sleep with the sun and the moon, right? That's why it's difficult in Alberta and even further north in the summer to sleep, right? The sun is out till 11, my place. It's 11 o'clock, it's still late. Like, shit, I was out reading outside till 10:30 like last night. That was wild. I was like, holy shit, I gotta go to bed, right? So there's 4 hours of physical repair from the hours of 10 to 2, and then psychological repair from 2 to 6. In an ideal world, those are your best hours of sleep. Your human growth hormone is produced from those hours 10 to midnight, generally speaking. So HGH is great for restoration. Okay, so that physical damage that you just did, all the strain that you put on the previous day, will be addressed and recovered, and your body goes, we're ready to rock. You skip those hours, your body's going like, well, we were ready, boss, but nobody showed up, right? So that's why, if you're sleeping well, that's why you have a good answer. You have a healthy answer, because if you got your energy in the morning, you're in tune with the circadian cycle. I'm going to have to assume that you're sleeping okay. Right? You're not waking up feeling groggy.
Nope, generally sleep pretty good. Yeah, for sure. Like I got an Apple Watch and with a couple apps that kind of monitor my sleep and give me scores and such. And, you know, sometimes you don't read too much into them, but at least it gives you an idea, you know, how much deep sleep, this or that, what your heart rate was and so forth. So no, I generally sleep quite soundly. So.
Perfect. Yeah, you're set, dude. I would just keep on doing what you're doing. Work out in the morning. For anybody watching, if you are the person that's like, I'm buzzing in the night, we've got a different issue that we have to address because your clock is off. And that's an actual issue. The 24-hour gym thing doesn't make any sense. You're shaving years off of your life with shift work or time zone travel and stuff like that. Like my commutes over the last 2 years back to Australia probably killed a year of my life, right? Because every time you reset that clock, it is the most stress your body could possibly be under. So if you do that consistently with shift work, like my heart goes out to our nurses and our workers that are working 7 on or 10 on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, that kind of bullshit. That's tough. That's really tough. Or even worse, where they're doing overnights for a couple of weeks and then they have to switch and do a regular shift. Oh man, that's so hard on your body, physically, mentally, emotionally, everything. Yeah, all of your people in your world too. It's damaging, right? So if that is you, where you get that buzz in the evening, we've got to look at different strategies to help your strength and your actual physical strain not contribute to that. Because most of them, they want to be, oh yeah, I'm going to go work out at 2 o'clock. That's the exact time you shouldn't be working out. 2 o'clock as a rule of thumb, anything past 4 o'clock, you want to keep really low key. Like I'm going to go to the gym. I'm not going to go max after this, but I'm definitely going to go in for some mobility work and just a light little get the body pumped, like I call it the flush from yesterday's like onslaught. You know, first day in 16 months after being under a bar. Yeah, I'm a little tight. All right. So I hope that answers it. Keep on doing what you're doing. Try to get it in before noon. You're going to capitalize on all the cortisol that your body has stored up overnight. And then you're going to use that instead of the thing with working out later in the day is your body sends that stress hormone, the cortisols, all the testosterone, sends it as a response to like, it's go time. So if you're doing that consistently, you're spiking your stress hormones in the middle of your day, you're going to have trouble sleeping. That's just the way it is, right? You're going to think your body's going like, oh, it's wake up time, boss. Not what you want. Right? So, yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Anything else, guys? We're good?
Oh, it's great presentation. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you very much for being here. Jody, any final words? You're all good?
I'm good for now. I'm sure more questions will come up, but I will ask otherwise. Thank you so much. Lots of great information.
Hey, thank you, guys. Okay. And for those of you watching the replay, please feel free, take notes. Write me, email me, DM me, do whatever you got to do, carrier pigeon, figure it out, okay? Till next time, guys, stay sweet, okay? Peace.
Beauty. Thanks, Mike.
Yes, thank you.
See you.